can you kind of help contextualize for maybe a CHRO or a CFO, or maybe you're contextualizing for a CHRO to be able to tell a story to the CFO, how important the idea of influence marketing or where B2C marketing comes into play in this bigger picture of recruitment marketing for companies?
Sure. Well, I think there's probably, I'm kind of doing this off the top of my head, but I think there's three main areas that you might want to focus on. The first of which is you want to make your business look attractive to the candidates out there that are looking for businesses that are sort of hip to this new era of personal branding and embracing employees that bring, some of that to the table as opposed to just the skill set to do the job at hand. And there's a couple of ways that you need to think about that. First of all, you've got to embrace that culture internally and be okay with people inside your company having their own social media presences and leveraging those social media presences for your company within their own filter, right? It can't be just you have to dictate, here's every word that you have to say and it has to be perfect or we're going to be mad at you and you're going to get fired. It's got to be, here's what the company wants to communicate to audiences out there. Now you communicate it to your audience the best way that you know how to communicate to your audience. So embracing the fact that you can have personal brands within an institution, an organization, is probably the first key step. The second key step to look attractive to those potential candidates out there looking for those, it-getting companies is to establish your own company and its individuals as influential, right? So your CEO should be out there having a personal brand on LinkedIn or whatever channel makes the most sense for your business. They need to be writing blog posts or having blog posts written in their name. They need to be posting videos on YouTube and other places for your company, and embracing the fact that they, as individuals within that company, are influencers within the space. About a year ago or so, some of the influencer marketing software companies out there that help you kind of find influencers and filter them, they started to redefine the types of people, the types of influencers that are out there. Instead of just social media influencers, which is what we generally think of, they separated them out and said, okay, there's social media influencers, and then there's content creators who really are all about the talent and the content they create. And there's some overlap there, certainly. But then there's also people who are influential because of where they work. Brand influencers, right? There's a young lady by the name of Ronnie Monty who is in HR and internal relations and whatnot at Adobe, but she ran their influencer marketing stuff for a long time. Most people out there who know who Ronnie Monty is know her because she was at Adobe. Now, she's brilliant, so it didn't matter which company she was going to be at. She would have been known within the industry, but she's, probably a lot more influential in a lot of places because Adobe follows her name, right? And so being able to establish your internal people as influencers within the company's overall vertical, but then within their individual verticals, like you chief HR officers out there, you need to be an influencer in the HR space, because if you are, the people who are applying for jobs within your company are going, whoa, this person's like known, right? And so they embrace that culture. They're going to allow me to grow into a role where I can also bring my audience and my personal brand to the table. So those are probably the two biggest things. And then I would also say the third one probably is really being able to understand how effective a candidate is in managing their social channels and being influential within their own space. I wouldn't ever say you should only hire people who have X amount of followers online, because that's very, very misleading. But what I would say is understand if you're looking for someone to fill, let's say, a marketing assistance role within your organization. Do they blog about marketing? Do they post videos on their social channels about marketing? Are they trying to establish themselves as a thought leader in the marketing space? I don't think that should be a requirement for them to get the job or be considered for the job, but the candidates that are going to separate themselves from the pack are the ones who are trying to build thought leadership and establish themselves as authoritative in that field, as well as trying to establish themselves as a good connection with you in an interview.